From drivers who don't give an inch, fearless when it comes to crashes, to characters who won't hesitate to throw punches if things go south, here are the dirtiest F1 drivers of all time. Number 10. Nigel Mansel. Nigel Mansel, the 1992 champion, kicks off this list. This British racer is a Formula 1 legend, no doubt, but sometimes he's remembered for his over-the-top aggressiveness in situations where it's just not needed. And he had this knack for giving his teammates some pretty bogus advice to hinder their progress. One classic move, he once told his teammate Riccardo Patrese to hold the steering wheel with both hands on top to keep the car steady over bumps. Well, Patrese went for it, and let's just say it almost cost him some seriously bruised knuckles between the wheel and the cockpit. Now that's what I call some helpful tips, right? Number 9. Romain Grosjean. Alright, check it out. Number 9 on the list is Romain Grosjean, the driver who, even though he chilled out a bit over the years, was once known as the wild guy of the first corner. Off the track, he's all smiles and friendliness, but on the race course, he had this rep for being a bit of a risk taker, getting into all sorts of scrapes.
Romain Grosjean swoops past Lewis Hamilton.
Still, from his early days, he proved he could be a speedy driver on a good day, grabbing plenty of podiums for Lotus. Now, let's talk crashes. One of the big moments that defined his career was the 2012 Belgian Grand Prix. Grosjean caused this massive pile-up that also involved Alonso, Hamilton, Kobayashi, Maldonado and Perez. He cut in front of Hamilton and it all went haywire, narrowly missing taking Alonso's head off by inches. That got him a one-race ban from the FIA. Fast forward to his last season in 2020, he was also in the spotlight for one of his most famous accidents in F1 history. He crossed paths with Daniil Kvyat in the Bahrain Grand Prix, went straight into the barriers and kaboom! The car turned into a fireball. The Frenchman miraculously walked away from it. Talk about a close call. Number 8. Kevin Magnuson. So, at number 8, we've got Kevin Magnuson. Even though he's chilled out a bit in recent years, like Grosjean, we can't forget his wild first years in Formula 1. K-Mag became a real talk of the town with his aggressive and uncompromising driving style. The Danish driver made a name for himself with his ruthless and ice-cold driving. He'd rather mess up his own race than back down, going all out in attacks and not giving a damn in defense. That kind of attitude got him into some crashes and made him a few enemies on the grid. Remember that Suzuka Grand Prix in 2018? Magnuson pulled off a super late defense against Charles Leclerc's Sauber before turn 1, totally changing his racing line. Result? Magnuson ended up with a flat tire in the rear. Leclerc's comeback. Magnuson is and will always be stupid. Then there's the showdown with Nico Hülkenberg in the 2017 Hungarian Grand Prix. Magnuson didn't budge an inch, pushing Hülkenberg off the track. Hülkenberg called him F1's most unsporting driver on camera, and Magnuson fired back with "suck my d***, mate." Off the track though, Magnuson is a whole different vibe, calm and friendly. Number 7. Eddie Irvine. Next up at number 7, we've got Eddie Irvine, who has gone down in Formula 1 history as one of the most controversial drivers ever, known from his early years for causing some serious crashes. So, in just his third F1 race back in 1994 at the Brazilian Grand Prix, Irvine pulled off a stunt that really messed up his career. The Irishman forced Jos Verstappen off the track, causing the Dutchman to lose control of his Benetton. Then, bam! Verstappen collided with Irvine, who then crashed into Eric Bernard, resulting in a spectacular accident where Verstappen's car went airborne at over 280 km/h, taking out Martin Brundle's McLaren in the process. Talk about a chaotic scene. Irvine got slapped with a one-race penalty at first, but his Jordan team appealed. And guess what? The FIA tripled the punishment, banning him for 3 races. And Irvine didn't learn his lesson. In the Portuguese Grand Prix, he pulled a similar stunt, launching Damon Hill into the air. They warned him that one more of those moves and he'd lose his super license. Irvine might have become a fast driver, but he was always known for his reckless style on the track. Number 6. Alain Prost. Alain Prost slided into the 6th spot on our list. Now, he wasn't exactly a dirty driver on the track, but man, he played the political game like a pro. This 4-time world champ had the FIA in his pocket, tight with Jean-Marie Balestre. If things didn't go his way, you bet he'd give Balestre a ring. Back in his Renault days, he threw some serious shade at his teammate René Arnoux. Prost basically forced the team boss to pick between them for the 1983 season, saying he wasn't gonna share the garage with someone he thought was disloyal. Then there's the 1982 French Grand Prix, where he claimed there was an agreement for him to win if they were 1-2, but Arnoux wasn't having it. And let's not forget the drama with Senna. In 1989, after their crash in Suzuka for the championship, Prost made a VIP visit to the FIA offices, and bam, Senna got disqualified, and Prost walked away with the world champ title. Politics, my friend. Number 5. Ayrton Senna. At number 5, let's talk about Ayrton Senna, the man, the myth, the legend. Some say he's the greatest driver ever with 3 world titles, 41 wins, 65 poles, and 80 podiums. Talking about him means talking about speed, records, and pure talent. But you know, behind the scenes, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Even though Senna had this magical touch, he was one aggressive driver. He not only pushed his own car to the max, but often played on the edge with other drivers. As Martin Brundle put it, the Brazilian would put you in a position where you were going to have an accident, but he left it up to you whether or not you were going to have that accident. Then, as we saw earlier, there's the infamous rivalry with Alain Prost. They pushed each other to the limit and played some dirty games. Remember Suzuka in 1990? Senna took out Prost in the first corner, clinching the world champion title and settling a score from the previous year. Off the track, Senna had a strong personality too. Eddie Irvine will forever remember the day Senna gave him a punch after getting annoyed during a lapping situation. Talk about a memorable moment. Number 4. Pastor Maldonado. At number 4, we've got Pastor Maldonado. So Maldonado spent 5 years in Formula 1, and let's just say he made a name for himself, not always for the right reasons. The Venezuelan who bagged the win at the 2012 Spanish Grand Prix was like a tornado on the track, causing chaos and having a knack for crashes. Sure, the guy could be lightning fast on a good day, but what really stood out? His accidents. It was like he had a radar for trouble, or maybe trouble just had a thing for him. Crazy late braking, risky moves that made you hold your breath, off-track excursions, you name it. That's why they call him Crash Tour. The Venezuelan was one of the most dreaded drivers out there. Remember Monaco in 2005 when he was in the Formula Renault 3.5? He ran over a marshal because he didn't bother slowing down after an accident. And in 2014, he sent Esteban Gutierrez flying through the air. Just a couple of highlights from the Crash to Maldonado show. Number 3. James Hunt. Alright, let's talk about James Hunt, our number 3 guy and the 1976 world champ. Hunt was a total rock star, on and off the track, a real playboy always surrounded by ladies, known for lighting up before races and having a thing for a certain white powder. Hunt, the wild Brit, was as rebellious as they come, a party animal who lived life in the fast lane. He was a natural talent, crazy fast by default. But here's the catch, he was one aggressive driver, both in the race and in the pub brawl after. Back in the day, they called him Hunt the Shunt because, well, he had this weird knack for wrecking cars. In the 1977 Dutch Grand Prix, he deliberately pushed Mario Andretti off the track, resulting in a crash for both. And the thing is, in many battles, he'd go all out, pushing it to the max, and well, sometimes things went south. And when it comes to authority, he didn't take crap from anyone. Punched a race official in Monaco in 75, and another one in Canada in 77, while they were trying to lend a hand. Plenty of rivals also got their fair share of insults and gestures thrown their way over the years. Explosive character, no doubt. Number 2. Michael Schumacher. Next, Michael Schumacher takes the number 2 spot. The Kaiser is known for his insane success, 7 titles, a true legend, and the greatest of all time for many. But hey, Along with his stellar career, there's some real drama that puts him on this list. Back in 1994, he skipped 2 races for ignoring a black flag and sealed the championship by smashing into Damon Hill on purpose at the Australian Grand Prix. Then, in 1997 at Jerez, trying the same trick against Jacques Villeneuve backfired big time. He got kicked out of the championship and Villeneuve took the title. Schumacher's rap sheet also includes super close overtakes, blow-ups like the one with David Coulthard in Spa 1998 where he almost wanted to throw down, and that bizarre move parking at the Rascasse in Monaco during qualifying in 2006 just to block others from taking pole. These are all highlights on his controversial resume. Number 1. Andrea the Cesaris. Andrea the Cesaris takes the title of the dirtiest driver in Formula 1 history, famously known as Andrea the Crasheris. This Italian driver took part in 15 championships with 10 different teams. But here's the twist. It's not the 208 Grand Prix races he started that people remember, it's his crazy records. We're talking the highest number of retirements ever, a whopping 148, the most races without a win, and the crazy fact that he didn't finish a single race in the 1987 championship. His racing legacy? Well, it's all about those frequent and wild crashes. He probably also holds the record for most run-ins on the track. Even though he showed he could be a speedy and fierce driver with 1 pole and 5 podiums, the guy was all over the place, inconsistent and prone to blunders. From minor fender benders to the most jaw-dropping, nail-biting crashes you've ever seen, he's the undisputed champ in earning this title. If you enjoyed this top 10, don't miss out on 20 times Max Verstappen humiliated his opponents. What are you waiting for? Let's go!